Welcome to this week's installment of The Passion of the Digital Artist. And here he is, the Da Vinci of digital himself, Jeff Mueller.
Thanks, Xavier.
How's it going, Jeff?
It's going good. These last, we haven't been on, both of us have been pretty busy, but really the last couple weeks I have been, a lot has happened. First of all, let's cover Art Takes Times Square. Through an email, the painting Fresh Market Decisions has been chosen to be in the book Art Takes Times Square. So I'm really excited about that. If you go to Art Takes Times Square website, you can purchase the book. I believe they're $53 plus shipping. And I was really excited. It kind of validated the whole process, going first to New York, seeing the mysterious absinthe drinker in Times Square. I'm working on, gonna start working on the stuff to promote that, and then gonna update my website with that. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes it's not just anybody. There was tens of thousands of entries, and they picked Fresh Market Decisions to be in there. So
congratulations! That's awesome. That's the painting that you featured when you went to the show in Brooklyn.
Right, the New York Group Show.
The New York Group Show.
So that painting's starting to get some really good recognition.
Makes us feel good that we're not the only ones that like it.
And then First Friday was this week. I updated some of the. I did some new artwork with James Dean and Katharine Hepburn. That actually is on Fine Art America. I'll put a link to that if anybody's interested in checking that artwork out. The originals that I created from there are hanging in the gallery, and then you can order prints at Fine Art America if you're interested. And then I displayed Underwater Adventure. That's hanging up in the gallery now. That is the first time Underwater Adventure has been publicly displayed in its physical form. Now, as we go further, the next 7 paintings in the social media series, those paintings are going to be the first time they're displayed pretty much publicly at all. So as we go further, we'll be showcasing those at the gallery.
Underwater Adventure. Conception of that was over 2 years ago.
Yes. At
the Aquarium of the Americas. And now it's in the gallery.
Right. And then I've concepted pretty much the second wave of the social media series. So I've probably got 7 or 8 of those paintings ready to go. But then right now, as everybody knows from the last video blog, I was working on the Cape Cod series. And this one, this particular video blog is I'm gonna show the actual technique of how I do my digital art and how long it actually takes. Because you wouldn't think doing a landscape that there's certain things that I could have went more graphic or not as detailed, but I decided to stick with the realism and my style and keep going further with that. But what I found out is that the time and effort that I'm putting into these paintings it's a good amount of time and effort. I would say it's almost equal to as if I was painting them from scratch. But the results are going to be amazing. And
I think demonstrating the technique is going to be quite important.
Right.
And let me tell you why. One of the guests at the gallery said to me, "Is that just a picture that he brought up through Photoshop and enhanced a little bit?" I think some people think that when you start with a picture and you talk about, in broad general terms, digital art and Adobe and that sort of thing, they think you're going to bring it up, hit auto adjust and print it out and your work is done. So I think it's very important that you're going to demonstrate some of the technique here.
The original picture that when I'm taking pictures with my camera, whether it be the low-res camera or my high-res 5D or the low-res Kodak video camera that you're recording this video blog on, the picture's being concepted as a painting. So I'm not running around, and I'm reiterating this. I'm not running around just randomly snapping pictures. I'm waiting for the painting to present itself, and then I take the pictures according to that it's going to be painted. So that's the first step. In this case with the Lighthouse, lighthouses, I knew they weren't on the ocean, and I wanted to paint these lighthouses on the ocean. So once I snapped the pictures of the lighthouses in the light that I wanted, I went over and got some really nice ocean shots with the angle of the lighthouse I took. So as you can see in this particular one, I'll turn off the lighthouse. The lighthouse wasn't in it, neither was the boat. Boat, lighthouse. But when I was conceiving these, I knew I was going to put the boat in. I'm not sure if it's working for me yet. I'm going to try and make it work. The boat might disappear. I don't know. But as far as the lighthouse, this was taken the exact same angle, exact same time of day. And then what I did is enhance this photo's colors to be what I wanted them to be in the painting. It's a very dry year, so the grass was dead. I added the green back in. The blue of the sky was more, I made it the blue of the sky that I wanted to put in the painting. Everything here has been computer manipulated in the photo to create the painting. And now, once I do that, this is where the detail comes in. Now, the first thing you're going to see is I'm close to being finished with the sky and the water. And when I go in, this gives you a very good example right here of how much coverage is happening on this painting. You can see right through here the water and the sky. That's all the computer painting. And then you can see what's happening in the grass. Now the grass and the bushes, let's just go in detail. It's pretty insane as far as what I'm accomplishing. Now I'm gonna flip back the picture back in. You can see with the picture back in, this is the detail. And if I take away, that's the picture, and there's the detail of the painting. Picture, detail of the painting. As you go through, same thing here. There's the amount of painting, and that's what it looked like without the painting on top. Now it's a lot has gone into what I wanted. It has a painterly feel, there's no doubt, but at the same time, I'm trying to stay true to the realism. Now the other thing that I did is that you'll see I'm painting the composition of what's happening here. Initially, this area wasn't feeling as good as it feels right there. I had gone in and retouched it to give me this strong line here, this line here, the thickness here, the clouds balancing out the thickness that's happening, and then this with this line to this line, and it all is pointing to the lighthouse. Now, once the lighthouse comes in, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to actually start painting on the lighthouse. You can see the detail right into the sky. Now watch what happens when I add in the detail of the painting. I'm able to, through the detail, and you can see right here, watch the detail disappear. I add a motion of what I want into it through the digital painting. Then once I print it out, I'm going to add even more through the acrylic painting. But I'll give you a nice example. Right here I've got the separate layer. I'll start on the lighthouse, and basically I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush. I got different brush sizes and different types of brushes, but you basically, over the top,
so now you've taken out some of the
starting to paint the lighthouse. You can see there was an electrical line that's coming out. I'm going to paint that out, and then there's a little bit of purple in there that I want to try.
That graining that you're taking out, is that just peeled paint, or is that brick, or what is that?
What?
You're taking out that
grain is just photographic grain.
Okay.
I'm painting over the top of the picture, and the grain's not supposed to be there because it's a photograph, and it's how it handles the detail. And I'm using, and I'll add a little bit of feel here. Same thing. I'll come up and I've got the line to paint here. See this particular line, I'll probably do a little bit purplish because it was purple. And then here, so that gives you a good feel of what
amazing
how I do it and go in. Then what I'll do is once it's finished, I go in and fool around with it a little bit more. But for here, if you want to take a look at like what I'm doing, this actually gets into some crazy detail work, and you can see how it's backed off. But you're basically coming in here, picking out the colors that you want. Now, a lot of times I'll find the green, and then I'll just start going off the greens, and then I'll find the highlights, and I'll hit the little bit of highlights and put them. So, but the tediousness of it, pretty much, this particular section of the grass, I've been working on for about 7 hours so far. And if you take that, that's going to take me, it's going to be a good 30, 40 hours, just the grass alone. Now the lighthouse is probably going to go pretty quick. You could see how fast that was going to go. So I'll probably only work about an hour on the lighthouse. So that gives you a really good feeling. Now, once this is, now the next time we're back, I will show you what I do into Photoshop, because a lot of times I'm painting and I add enough feel and texture that I can use some of the Photoshop filters to add some feeling into some flatter areas where it adds in brush strokes or whatnot, and it looks and it can look amazing. So I run this painting through about 4 or 5 filters, and I mix it. I add a little bit of the feeling in. I don't use it all. So really, the process is, and it being mine, I'm just trying to get the best overall feel that you can possibly get. And people ask me, well, why can't you just run it through a filter? Well, if you ever run something through a filter, it just turns into a canned thing. Every single one of these brush strokes are put down on, and they're defining the bushes, or they're defining the water the way I want the water to feel, not the way the computer generalizes the way the water should feel. So that's the difference between, you know, running it through and not. So the next week that we do this, I should have a lot of the final process and be getting close. Then the last thing, I ordered 6 of the canvases because I got a really good deal on the canvases. This series, I'm excited because instead of it being the thousands of dollars, for each painting, I'm gonna get it into the $800-900 range for these. They're a little bit smaller, 24 by 36, and we're gonna see where that goes. So hopefully these originals are out there for you guys. I wanted to do some artwork that everybody can enjoy and purchase. So
fantastic.
I think that covers it this week, doesn't it?
I think we got it covered.
All right.
Amazing job, Jeff.
Thanks, Xavier. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye, everyone.